I'm Barbara and I welcome you to my channel. I would like to share with you some of my ideas, some of my stories, and today I would like to talk about how I got pregnant. So I got married to my husband, it's gonna be almost 3 years ago, and because I was not, the super young bride, I would say, that some of you may be. I told him probably it was like a half year later. It was on the New Year's Eve, or no, like a New Year day. We were on a hike here in San Diego where we live, and I told him that I feel like we should take that year for getting ready for getting pregnant next year. And of course he freaked out as many of guys, I guess, would, because he was just saying like, well, we've been married just for like half a year, and like we just need some time for ourselves first, and just don't rush anything. And I was just telling him, well, first of all, I just wanted to take this year to prepare spiritually, physically, and mentally, and which means that we're still not getting pregnant this year, and then who knows how long it can take to get pregnant, right? Some people are, I guess, lucky, or you can see it as luck, and they just get pregnant right away when they are not even trying. So I just didn't want to take the chance of not I don't know, like not being the couple who is gonna wait for many years, and then I didn't want to go through the infertility treatment, so I really wanted to take that step, that year, for just preparing, physically to be healthy, be on a healthy diet, be on a healthy schedule, like with the stress level, also like how to reduce it, how to be basically healthy. And we talked about it a little bit more afterwards, and then he calmed down a little bit, and even when I talked to his mom, she told me like, you know what, not almost any man is ready ever. So I guess it's up to us women most of the time to really feel when it's the right time for us. And because I've been waiting for a long time to find the right person to have children with, I felt like, well, this is coming closer to, like I didn't want to be like 40 years old first time mom, no offense. But I just felt like, the younger my body is, the better chance to get pregnant I have, and also just having less problems during the pregnancy and all that, because the younger body you have, the easier it probably is gonna be. So anyways, long story short, we've started to try the year after, the year later. We did a beautiful ritual when we were just like standing in a garden that we're like taking care of with my husband, and we were really offering to the earth and to the universe, and opening ourselves up for the possibility and for the new being to come and join us on this fun journey on this planet. And I, for some reason, was kind of like convinced that it's gonna happen like right away, and it's gonna be super easy, and because I'm prepared and ready, and it's gonna be a smooth road. And it wasn't. Well, I mean, it was and it wasn't. I think that the first 3 months we've been, let's say, like trying so hard and so much that it felt like it became like a chore. Making love was a chore. It was not fun, and we were just kind of like upset and tired, and at some point, like, my husband told me, like, I feel like you're just using me for sex, like a sperm donor or something, like I'm not feeling like a human being anymore. And of course I didn't see him that way, or I didn't think that I was using him that way, but I guess because like the desire to have the baby was so strong, I just didn't really consider how it's affecting our relationship, and my relationship with myself, and his relationship with himself, and you know, like our bodies, and I was kind of like, in a way, I guess, like I was upset with my body that it's not doing what's supposed to do, you know, that it's not getting pregnant. But at the same time, like, I think that after some time, when the time was unfolding and revealing certain things about ourselves, it was just showing us that we might not have been ready yet. And we were, I mean, I think that you can never be truly ready for life-altering changes in your life. But I felt like I was somewhat ready, and just knowing certain circumstances and certain experiences in our lives, I saw that it was just probably not the right time. But it was getting frustrated, so then we kind of like stopped trying, and then we were like, well, we're not gonna try and we're gonna let it go. But I think that many of you may know that, you know, like when you decide to finally do like you decide to have the baby, you can't wait to get pregnant, and you can wait to be on that journey. So it's really almost like impossible not to think about it, right? It's like, oh, don't think about the pink elephant, you know, like the only thing that you're gonna think about is the pink elephant. So what could we do? Well, I think for me it was a very interesting journey of discovering myself and my true desires and my true fears, because I had a lot of fear about becoming a mom, and it was because of my relationship with my mom that I have, and because of you know, like, we are continuation of our parents, and I knew that at some point I'm just gonna act like my mom, or I'm gonna, you know, react like my mom, and I didn't want to in certain ways, especially the emotional support that was never there. So I was really afraid to be mom, basically, and it took me a while to really dive deep into that and find out, like, why am I so afraid, and maybe blocking the, you know, the outcome of getting pregnant. And so does my husband. You know, he had also a lot of fears and a lot of anxiety, I guess, about, you know, just how to provide and how to be there for me and the baby potentially. So there was a lot of fear, and I think it was really important to face it and talk about it, and talk about, you know, what we struggle with and what we really, you know, feel and think. So it definitely strengthened our relationship, and it was very helpful to just pay attention to our fears and needs and our, you know, feelings. And I really believe that it's important to listen to your intuition, and most of the time I do listen to my intuition. Sometimes I don't, but at this point it was already August, and I had very strong, like, intuitive feeling to talk to my friend who works with like other women and like relationships. She's like a therapist, but also she does some card readings, and she's very intuitive. So I did a Skype call with card reading with her, and told me that what's coming to her is that there is not a question if I'm gonna get pregnant, that it's definitely gonna happen, but when. And what she was receiving was number 3, and she was saying that it can be either 3 weeks or 3 months, but most likely 3 months. which I wasn't happy to hear. But I was like, whatever. And I thanked her, and you know, she told me to work in the meantime on my relationship with myself and with my mom, and just really be present to my fears, and what else I can just learn from this experience while I'm waiting. Patience, right? Learning patience. And then another friend of mine who is a acupuncturist and healer too, she actually told me that she had a very vivid dream about treating me with acupuncture and helping me to get pregnant. So I was just like, wow, great, because I had a very similar kind of like intuitive feeling that I should ask her actually to do some acupuncture for me to help me to get pregnant. So that was meant to be. And she did some treatments, and in the middle, or it was almost like at the end of September, I think, my other good friend of mine, she told me that she had very strong feeling that I should start taking prenatal vitamins, that you know, kind of like came to her, that it's gonna help me. So I didn't wait, and then the very next day I just went to Sprouts and bought myself the prenatal vitamins, raw vitamins. If you wanna, you know, get the name of it, I'm gonna put it underneath the video. And then I decided, together with my husband, that we're gonna do sugar-free, refined sugar-free diet for a month in October. Well, it was more his idea, and I was just like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. You know, like, our body's gonna get a little bit healthier and more balanced. So we did that, and in the middle of the October, my husband was about to go to a retreat at the monastery. So the day before he left, we made love, but I didn't really give any significance to that. It was just beautiful lovemaking, but I knew, or I was kind of like convinced, that my ovulation is gonna be when he's at the monastery that week, you know. So I was just like, well, okay, it's not gonna happen this month either, you know. And I kind of like really let go of that inner stress or inner kind of like expectation that I had. And I think that was the key as well, because I did get pregnant. So when he came back, I became like super emotional and super crazy, which is one of the signs that you're pregnant, because you're very hormonal. But I didn't know that. And so I was like just really emotional, no other signs whatsoever. So I was just like kind of like freaking out, like, what's going on with me, why I'm so crazy, is this PMS like that I've never had. But like I've been emotional or hormonal before, but not that much, you know. So it was really interesting. And at some point I was like bursting in this anger, and it was also connected to my brother's death. And my husband told me, well, maybe you should just start the therapy or something. I don't know if I can help you, you know, like, it's really very strong. So I was just like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'm gonna start some therapy. But it was a good decision anyways, no matter, you know, what. I never really believed in therapy as much, but my therapist was amazing. She was more like a coach, and she was really coaching me through a lot of things. And you know, later on I found out that I'm pregnant, and it was quite a surprise, actually. You know, it was very funny because, you know, I waited for it for so long, and you know, so many months. I've done some tests before, and they were always negative. So when it was also like a time when at my home where we live in an intentional community. I don't know if you know what that means, or, you know, there are some people who live in intentional communities. It's just a lifestyle that we chose for now to live, and we really enjoy it. It's a very supportive and loving community. But at the time we were actually deciding to do pretty big transition and changes within the house. So I kind of like felt that maybe I should take the test and make sure that, you know, I know whether I'm pregnant or not. But like it was definitely playing a role of, you know, how the life in the house is going to unfold as well. So in the morning I took the test. I think it was the 17th of November or something like that, because I was already probably like 5 days late, but I was still like, didn't want to, you know, believe that that's because I'm pregnant. I didn't want to give myself again some false hopes that I had before. So I was just like, well, whatever, I'm gonna take the test and we'll see. And so I took the test, but it didn't come out in any way. Like, it was just like a bad test, I guess. Like, it was just not working. So just like, ugh, great. So now I have to buy another test, which I did. I went to Rite Aid to get myself tested. It was like a, I don't know, 6:30 in the morning. I just like went for a walk just to give myself some space anyways. And came back home. My husband was already at work. So I took the test, and not very long, you know, like not even the 2 minutes, it came out positive. And I was just looking at it and I was just like, wow, how is that even possible? I couldn't believe it. You know, I think after so many hopes that were, you know, like not fulfilled, I was just very skeptical. So I was really surprised, but very nicely surprised, of course, and then I couldn't wait to for my husband to come home, because I was just like, oh my god, I can't wait a whole day. So I texted him, you know, the result of the test, and he didn't read it, so I called him, and I was just like, hey, did you read the text? And he's like, no. And he was actually, well, he wasn't at work, he was at the, what is it called? Like a junkyard. He was looking for parts for our car that he had an accident with a few weeks back. So he was, you know, like in the middle of junkyard looking for car parts, and you know, I called him and he was just like, well, why don't you just tell me what was in the text? And I'm like, just look at the text. So he looked at it and he was like, no way, oh my god. And you know, like, I couldn't imagine poor man. He was just like in the middle of this horrible mess, and then he found out the like really great news. So it was very interesting. Yeah, I just couldn't wait. I definitely wanted to make it more special, or you know, like how nicely some women kind of like prepare it, but I just couldn't wait, and I was just too excited, and I wanted to share it with so many other people, and but I also wanted to wait to tell, you know, like his family and my family. So it was not so easy not to share such a great news. But anyways, so that's how I got pregnant. And I think for me, you know, so it took us basically 10 months to get pregnant. I think many people will tell you like, oh, it's not that a long time, you know, that's pretty standard, normal to take 1 year or so. Well, it felt long for me, you know, and I cannot imagine the struggle of other people's not, you know, not being able to get pregnant for longer, you know. So I really feel for you. I think that this experience helped me to be more compassionate and more understanding of other people's struggles, and how big of a miracle it actually is. And it actually is not about just, you know, knowing where is the ovulation and when the sperm comes together with the egg that you're gonna get pregnant. That's not that simple, unfortunately. But at the same time, I think it just like shows us like how to be humble and how to really marvel at the beauty of life and its mystery, you know, because it is really a miracle to get pregnant and to have the baby. And I just feel very blessed that I have the opportunity to you know, carry this baby and slowly becoming aware of different things in my life, and I'm really excited to meet this baby soon. So yeah, that's my story. I don't want to bore you anymore, so I'll leave it with, I really believe that everything happens for a reason, and that we're here for one another to help each other with our stories and our support and our, wisdom. And everybody has different story to share, and I'm really blessed with so many people around me that were, on my journey together with me, and who helped me to point out certain things and helped me, physically to get into better shape, and also mentally and spiritually to get into a place when I really learn how to let go and just be present to what's important. And that important is to enjoy your life, and go by your life, and not to get yourself fixated on something just because you want it. I think that actually that's the paradox of, if you want something, set it free, and when when you're ready, it just comes back to you effortlessly, and it's not a struggle. And just being pregnant is teaching me so much about that life is effortless, life is happening, and you don't really have to struggle for things to happen. But it's a very, it's simple, but it's not easy. And I am definitely hopeful for all of you who are still struggling or who are on this journey. And I definitely would like some of your comments. Forgive me for the poor quality of this video. This is my first attempt, so it's not the greatest either, but I will probably, or hopefully, do better. I'll try to make it shorter as well, so it's like super overwhelming to listen to someone's super long story. I hope that it wasn't boring, and I will leave you with my tea tag, a little quote that I really like. I'm drinking a raspberry leaf tea for my uterus to become stronger and more healthy for the birth. So it says, live with reverence for yourself and others. So I'll leave you there, and thank you so much for stopping by, and I meet you another time with another story or another topic that I am maybe passionate about and I would like to share it with you. Have a great day. Bye.